Awesome. All right, guys. So we are live. This is Tanner Larson, along with my business partner, Matthew Stafford, doing another live Shopify deep dive store audit on a popular Shopify store. If this is your first time seeing one of our audits, some people call them roasts, but what we basically do is we take a popular Shopify store and do what?
Go through and do a heuristic analysis on it, which is a visual optimization of things that we see that aren't clear.
Yep. So what we're doing in a nutshell is taking the buyer's journey on a Shopify store, which is from what happens after the click, when the visitor lands on your site, to the time they leave, buy, bookmark, or whatever, right? There's a huge process, like Matt was talking about it in the last video we did, about how when you have an ad, there's one click involved there. They see the ad, they click, and they land on your site. You're so focused on that one click, but once they land on your site, there's between 5 and 7 at a minimum clicks if they do nothing but what you want them to do before they actually get to a purchase. So the question that we have for you and why Build, Grow, Scale does what it does is, why aren't you focusing on the 7 clicks versus the 1?
Yeah.
Right? Because you say the 7 are more important?
Yeah, that's where you actually make money.
Yeah. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to take you on a journey as we, in this case, we are going to do an audit on the Death Wish Coffee Shopify store, which is obviously a popular brand on Amazon. People seem to like it a lot. And we're going to show you kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly of what this store is doing. Now, this store is successful. This brand is successful. And so we're going to show you good stuff. We're going to show you bad stuff. We're going to show you some stuff that they're just completely missing the point on. And the thing here is everything we're doing is what we consider a best practice in Build, Grow, Scale. It's backed up by massive, massive amounts of data collected off over 20 different $1 million or more a month Shopify stores and tens of millions of dollars of ad spend and hundreds of millions of dollars of product sales. I mean, lots and lots of data. Our team, which Matt runs and has set up, is about 40 people strong right now. It's actually a little bit more than that. These team members do nothing but analyze e-commerce store data, collect it, interpret it, run tests on it, collate the answers, and then figure out the wins based on all these stores. And then when we have a win on one store, we roll it out to the entire network of stores. Now, to be honest, that one win that happened over here may not win on every other 20 other stores. The cool thing is, though, now we know, hey, this specific optimization does great on apparel, doesn't do so well on consumables, or doesn't do well with this audience, but does well with this audience. We have such a massive amount of data. I don't think anybody can collect the amount of data that we do, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that as our best practices, as our benchmark to tell you what we see on these stores, okay? So know that before we actually change anything on a store like this, which we don't have access to Death Wish, we don't work with Death Wish, we're just saying that if these are the things that we would be fixing if we did work with them or had control of their site. And it'd be the first thing that we would collect data on and make sure it's actually a help versus a hindrance to conversions. All right, so enough yakking about that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to dive into the Death Wish coffee site. All right, so we're going to use an incognito.
Live or no?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So yeah, we are live. Hang on, guys. I'm just making sure. You should see an incognito window, and we're going to load it this way. That way it loads like a fresh load, nothing changes, and there's no caching or cookies involved. So here we go. All righty, okay. What do you see, Matthew?
Well, first off, I would wonder if they sell outside the U.S. because of the website cookies. That's typically something that's done for the GDPR. It's not required that you do that in the U.S. So.
And if you're not selling in the U.S., then it's an extra thing that's just a cognitive load. Why don't you talk about cognitive load, because we're going to be talking about that a lot.
Yeah, the point of cognitive load is you're trying to reduce it, because the more things that they have to think about or read through to understand, the less time that they'll spend actually shopping and browsing your site. So what you're trying to do is get rid of as much distraction as possible.
All right, so looking at, whoa, what did I do? I think I hovered.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so why don't you just take a walk through the navigation above the fold, Matt?
All right, so the Shop Now button, typically we don't use the word Shop Now because we want them to start browsing. And the other thing that we don't want to do is interrupt the buyer's journey. So we would never use a pop-up like this except for exit intent.
Which I didn't try to exit. I'm actually hovering over the Shop Now button if you can't see that.
Yeah, so this is probably a timed load, and I'm not sure why they would want to offer 10% off before the person even had a chance to look at a product.
No. And that's, explain what that usually does in the consumer's mind.
And typically it erodes trust. One, why are you discounting your price before I've actually even seen your product? Or is it not worth what you're asking for?
Oh, so you're basically, I haven't seen your coffee, I haven't even looked at your pricing, but you're immediately telling me 10% off before I've seen any of that, which makes me feel like, hey, your product is overpriced at the very least, and you're trying to, alleviate that.
Or why do I want to join a list 15 seconds after being on your site when I don't even, or it was actually less than that, maybe 10 seconds on your site, and I don't even know if you have anything that I want. So at this point, you have more of a chance of people exiting out of it than you do entering it.
I want to make sure that we actually have a recording going. Okay, we are. Just I had to double check on that, guys.
So go ahead and exit off that. And the other thing is your homepage is really designed for to let them know that they landed on the right place, which this is obviously the coffee site, and then easy navigation to what they're looking for. So you can shop, which I would think that you would want to put the different types of coffee that you have, about, contact, and FAQ, and a login button all right across. That's your main navigation that you're giving people access to go look at. The other thing is we use a term called hierarchy of focus, and to me we see 3 big red areas. So what do you want me to focus on? The Shop Now button, the strongest coffee, or the
DW Stash Cash, which we don't even know what that is now.
Assuming it's another discount.
Yeah, or a loyalty program or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, back up on the navigation. Drop downs are okay. But one thing that is, so shop, they're not really shopping yet. They don't even know really what you got. So they need to browse or they need to look around. It'd be better to have like coffee, merch, bundles or whatever along the top. This Explore, this basically is blog, podcast, contest, reward. Unless your blog is actually monetized and drives sales, the last thing you want to do once you get them on your store is give them an opportunity to get off your store. Yeah. So if you want to have a blog and your podcast and your content, your reward, all that stuff, great. Put it in the footer, not in the header.
That way you still get your backlinks and SEO from it, but the last thing you want to do is distract them. The whole point of your store is to collect money.
Yep. And then over here, we've got login. So again, this is something we would first want to look at stats on. In most Shopify stores, less than 1% of stores actually need, maybe not, I shouldn't say that, less than a few percent of stores actually need the login function because most customers don't even want to or have a login. So it's extra load, it's extra stuff there that if they don't need it, you can put it in the footer and they can still log in. Now, in some of our stores that we work with, that is a big function, and it actually caused problems when we did put it in the footer. So it's something we test. It's not something we just assume is automatic. The other thing is search. Search is a big deal, okay? Especially when it comes to products. People are used to being able to search for what they want on Amazon and things like that. The thing that you need to understand is that, it sounds crazy, but many, many people do not know what a magnifying glass icon represents on a site. So they don't necessarily know that it's a search. The other thing is, I didn't even search.
I think you clicked it.
I did. I clicked it, but it's bringing up chokehold. I didn't search for that.
Huh.
I didn't search. So anyway, that's kind of weird. I want to type. Where do I type it in? I can't even scroll.
Oh, that's just trending searches.
Yeah, but I can't. Okay, so something's going on with their search.
Yeah, and so just to make a point of it, your search is actually your most valuable traffic on your store. Typically, one of the first changes we do is we make the search more prevalent. At least we label it at the very least. But then we actually try to drop the menu down and put a search bar through the center, because the higher that you can get the usage of search, you have a couple different benefits from it. One, those people convert about 3 times higher. They're worth about 4 times as much as a regular customer. And people will search in terms of what they're looking for. So you'll actually know what's the most searched on your site, and then you can reorder priorities based off of that.
So a big prominent search bar is very beneficial, even if you only have a few products. We used to think that, oh, you got to have a bunch of products. We'll even do it on a 1-product store now. because people are so used to searching for stuff, and they type in what their question is. They don't search.
Or if they have a problem,
Yeah.
they'll type in what their problem is, and then
Exactly.
you can change your languaging
Yeah,
on
and
your products
collect a
to,
ton of data.
to hit that pain point
So
that they have.
I want to make a note on that, or a point about this. So the search, we're doing this and we're having a problem with it. Now here's the thing. Matt and I look at thousands of Shopify stores over the year, right? Thousands and thousands of stores a year. We know how almost every theme that we ever come in, we know how things work. And when there's a glitch and it confuses us, we know what we're doing. So a regular customer coming in is going to be more confused. Now, the point I really wanted to make is that if the owners of Death Wish Coffee are watching this and they're like, oh, well, it did that because Tanner did this or that. Well, yeah, you know that, but your customer doesn't know that. I didn't know that. So just because you know it works a certain way, but I'm trying to use it as a normal person, and you as a store owner know where everything is, know how your store works, know all the little quirks, and you think it's normal. That does not make it normal for your consumer. Okay. So
basically, you have confirmation bias or banner blindness.
Yep. So we got our AC just kicked on. We're gonna kill that so it doesn't mess up the audio. So give us a second while Matt does that. But we're also talking above the fold. Okay, above the fold is gold. We always say that, right? And the thing about above the fold, and this is on any page, as Matt said, there needs to be one clear call to action, which there's kind of three based on color load here. You don't know where your eyes have to go, but there's also really not one clear call to action. Now, this is a seasonal thing. It is currently September 14th. We're getting into the Halloween season, and they're offering their pumpkin coffee. That's great. But this is a very weak example of how do you offer and use banner space to try to pull someone into an offer that you want to focus your attention on. There's no value proposition. There's no anything.
They could use a pumpkin in the banner. They could do a couple other things.
And you could have a pumpkin coffee now available is like the weakest call to action ever. Give them some reason to check it. Our most wished for, our most popular holiday seasonal coffee is back. The pumpkin, blah 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 blah. Click here, or on sale now, or something to make them actually want to click through. This doesn't do that. It'd be better off just not being here, and they could still sell it. Okay, so now we're moving down, and coffee is what they sell, and they're actually selling directly on the homepage.
Yeah, which is actually not a good practice either.
Correct.
The homepage is designed to develop trust and then give them easy navigation to what they're looking for. So this is basically, it looks like there is some selections right here. So let's just see what happens.
I mean,
it says select your grind, but that doesn't.
Select coffee type. So I do like the style. Like you got ground, whole bean, death cups with the imagery. That's cool. The whole, we found that center aligning everything typically does not work. It actually hurts conversions, especially the fact that like your radio buttons are all goofy here. The delivery, this is standard for subscription and stuff, but the other thing is typically, not all the times, red as a action button has an opposite effect, because red in our subconscious is a negative, has a negative connotation, and actually tells our brain to stop when we see red.
They actually even use the red for the warning, highly addictive. So
yeah, so now you got a warning here telling people, hey, back up. Which in a funny way, like I know it's not a highly addictive, that's a prop, but
I'm just saying that they're using red as a warning because that's typical.
Color.
Right, that's typical.
So we typically don't do that. And the idea here is prototypicality, right? You want your site to be prototypical, meaning what they're expecting to see.
The other thing is you want the next most important action on the page to be the highlighted thing. And when you look right here, you have three things that are the same color, when really the buy now or actually add to cart is what the text should say.
Correct.
Because they're not ready to buy yet. They're actually, they're a browser until they add something to the cart, then they're a shopper.
Yeah, and if you're going to bold these different variant option type things, this should be bolded too, so they can actually really easily see this. If Matt and I were working on the site, if our RO team was working on it, this would be the first thing that we would test and take out.
Yeah.
Because this is not the best place to try to sell your coffee. The different font stuff here, this isn't bad. We would probably test some different layouts of maybe not having this big giant block of text here. Because even though it's big, it's spaced out and easier to read, it's still considered a wall of text. The bullets are nice. but it'd be nice to have icons next to them if they're actually that important. And it's just not really helping, okay? From the blog, okay, well, so this ginormous image supports this black sentence. And then they have their categories
Underneath of
underneath the blog stuff, and then enter the email in the footer. So again, this is a Shopify store.
What? Go down to the very bottom. There's a PayPal button too. Oh,
they're
okay.
icons.
No, okay. That's good. All right.
Yeah. So they're here. This is a Shopify store. The point of a Shopify store is to sell, not go to your blog. So not only at the top navigation above the fold did you try to get me to go to the blog. Now on the homepage again, you're doing that before even showing me your other categories, your merchandise and your death cups. Okay. Again, we wouldn't use the word shop. It should be browse or something less committal, because they're not actually ready. This is like saying, kiss me and I don't know your name, right? They're not ready for that step. And then never miss a mug, time for the coffee newsletter. Again, this could be utilized in this takes up a lot of space, and nobody wants to sign up for your newsletter.
You're not giving them any benefit for signing up for it. Nobody wants you to spam them. So we typically offer a discount right here.
This is where that 10% could go.
Yeah, yep.
And it would be much more beneficial. They'd get a lot more emails. Now, they are doing good with their social down here. They're keeping it in the footer away from everything else. They're not mixing it up in the middle of the site. Well, let's go ahead and jump into a category because we've done enough time on the home page. Let's take a look at a category page. So Matt, what?
That goes straight to a product.
That goes straight to a product.
Yeah.
So maybe these aren't categories. Let's go back. So I assumed it was a category. Well, let's go to merch because merch should be a category, right?
Right.
All right. So Matt, what's the main purpose of a category page?
It's a filter system. So really all the categories page is supposed to do is to narrow down their choice again. So if on the home page they said, hey, I want to go look at apparel or merch, then you gotta,
Sorry.
the way that menu works,
Takes
it
up the whole
basically
page.
takes up the whole page. So you can't see what you're doing. And then, so this is actually segmented. I think it would work better if they actually had some images with it,
And
but it
probably
looks like
left
the
align.
images are down below.
This is just dumped into the product.
Yeah, so they have everything showing here.
So let's see. If I go, let's see what happens. I clicked apparel. So at least it is sorting.
But you stay on the same page?
You stay on the same page.
Okay.
So if these are actually just filters.
Yeah.
So if these are filters, think about all the sites that you actually frequent that have filters, which are the things that allow you to select down to find what you want. The filters are not set up like this.
I've never seen them like this before.
They're always either on the side, and they're hierarchy focused, and it's okay. So I want apparel. Boom. I want, and honestly,
If they are going to do this,
Yeah.
all those filters should go down the left-hand side,
agreed.
so that when you actually click one, you can see the products change. So click on the mugs.
You can see it, but barely. It needs to be much more.
And on your screen right now, the way that it is.
Yeah, it would be much more effective to have these things, like you said, on the left, and then everything else moved up. Because again, they're in a category page to see product, not to have to select right off the bat. They see the product and then they select. The other thing is typically we don't have a mass category. It's better to niche your categories out and not throw everything into one category. Apparel should be its own category, not merch, and then everything within that.
Right.
All right, so we talked about category page. Let's go ahead and see how they're doing information-wise. They got great reviews. The thing about reviews, they're not prototypical.
Right. So everybody shops at Amazon. We know that for every dollar on the internet, about 53 cents is spent on Amazon. So there are some things over there that you can mimic, so that you can basically borrow their trust. People trust Amazon and they know that they're going to get what they're ordering. And so here with the reviews, which is it's a very good thing that
These
you're
are
going to
good
want.
reviews.
Yeah, you definitely want to make them look similar to Amazon's, the yellow. It's a subconscious thing, but they will automatically trust them better more.
It's just they're trained to trust Amazon reviews, and if it looks like an Amazon review, you're a little bit of a half a step or 2 steps forward, right?
Yeah, it reminds them of Amazon reviews, which they trust.
Absolutely. So we're going to look at one of these products. We'll also look at a subscription product too, because they're handled differently on product pages a little bit. So Which one of these mugs do you like, Matt?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one? 90 5-star reviews. Okay, so one thing about reviews, 95-star reviews, probably there are some 3-star, 4-star reviews that maybe aren't getting published. And it's actually to your benefit to not have perfection. People know that no product's perfect. They also know that no customer is always 100% satisfied. So showing some, logical flaws, what do you call that word? We'll just put it on the spot.
Yeah, I was
basically we're showing that you are real.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you publish the reviews that are less than perfect. And then what people want to see in those reviews that you consider poor is how you respond to them. What's your rebuttal to a customer saying, oh, the mug was cracked when I got it, or
not even a rebuttal, but how did you handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the thing that struck me here is if you go back a page, they were red. Now here they're black and are the same color as the title. So
it all blends
it's definitely better to be that orangish red color than it is to be black. But it would be much better as if your site was congruent from front to back. So if they're going to be one color on one page, they should be the same color on all. And we definitely recommend that you use the Amazon yellow color.
So I don't have any option for quantity.
No.
What if I want 2 mugs? I have to go to the cart to add it, but
I'm not sure. Scroll down, see if there's another way. Nope.
No. Okay, so
so the quantity selector is missing.
Yeah, which is a big deal.
Yeah. The other thing is we know again the hierarchy of focus, that stash cache is definitely distracting.
Yeah. So the thing about that, we have a client of ours from a past client. We actually don't work with them anymore because they recently sold their company, but they were in love with their own homemade loyalty program. And they had to have it on every page. And it was a big point of contention with our RO team because our data showed that nobody clicked on it. But they wanted it because it was so important to them to push their loyalty program. But data showed that nobody clicked on it. It didn't result in conversions, and it was just a waste of focus. And we always saw people in the recordings that we were getting from the session recordings from users on the site, them hovering over it, looking at it, but just distracting them.
Yeah, and typically on a mobile, a big button that big is covering up about 2/3 of the bottom of your screen.
So this would be a big thing that we would test. Now, in some cases, it may be critical or it may win. If a huge percentage of your customers are repeat, and that's really the big thing, then cool. But it has to actually win by a landslide, you're not doing it just for an edge case or because the site owner thinks it's important to do.
Yeah, the price should stand out.
Too much black.
Not all be the same color. Yeah.
And this little divider bar, horizontal rule is what they're called, serves no purpose. It just looks out of place. So if we scroll down,
the social icons on the page should be gone.
Yeah, go ahead, tell them.
Yeah, once you have them on this page, the last thing that you want to do is remind them to think about Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, and Google Plus. So I don't even think Google Plus exists anymore.
No, I'm pretty sure that they killed it.
So I think their plugin should certainly be updated. But I mean, that just gives you an idea. Obviously, it has no shares. It has no tweets. People aren't using that. It's a cognitive load. It's something that you want to remove from the site. You don't want to distract them and have them go, oh, yeah, that's right, Facebook. I wonder what my buddy's posting about right now. And then leave your site to go check their their news feed.
Mm-hmm. So two things two things. One thing is this image is rather large, but I didn't know, I saw it said pin set, but I didn't make the connection that this little thing was the pin. I had to actually think that through. I was thinking, what is that?
And what type of pin?
And what type of pin? And there's no image that shows it. Yeah. Honestly, if you want, you can show them together, cool. But maybe there should be another image that shows like the back of the pin, or two of the pins, one facing you and one laying on its side, so you can see it. Again, you need to give the customer the information they need. What if it's a magnetic pin and they don't want a magnet, they want an actual stab you in the chest push pin? Or what if it's the opposite, they want a magnetic pin and it's not? And then you come over here and you got a pretty heavy wall of text.
Yeah.
People on the internet are, number one, they're lazy. Number two, they have attention spans of, I don't even know what, really short ones. And they don't want to read. They want to scan. Yeah. They browse. Think about how you use your cell phone. You do this. You never stop. and you read what you can. You take it snippets, and that's how you scroll at the speed of your ability to take snippets of what you're seeing.
And again, you're forcing them for them to figure out what you're talking about in there. You're forcing them to read that, so they have to read through all of your text to find what they're looking for, especially by putting it up above the product details.
Having the details is good. It's ceramic made in the USA. These should actually be separate. Made in the USA is actually a value proposition and is not emphasized here on the site at all.
Right.
There's actually no value propositions on these sites.
Right. Which actually surprises me too, why they had the GDPR compliance rules. If they're made in the USA, they're probably shipping in the USA.
USA too.
Yeah.
The holds 14 ounces of coffee. That's good. Dishwasher safe.
There it talks about the pin. Includes a
metal butterfly catch.
Clutch back.
Good. How many of you know what a butterfly clutch back is? Well, clutch back, I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Clutch back.
Yeah.
I don't. I can guess that it's like the long pin, but I don't know if that's right because that doesn't seem like a butterfly. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I don't either.
So how about you show me what it is so that I may want to buy it?
Yeah.
Items are not sold separately. Okay. Sign up for an account to receive free shipping on all domestic orders.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to get them to sign up.
And these details are good.
Yeah, right there. That's telling you why you would want an account. So
which makes sense.
Log in or create an account. A lot of times we see that with zero explanation. This is actually telling you that if you create an account, you're going to get free shipping on all the domestic.
Which is honestly a very strong incentive to do it.
Yeah.
So, now they have to have their own reason for what, like, if you're going to have them sign up for an account, but you're not actually leveraging that to make more money, then there's no benefit to it. But if they have a good strategy for how to leverage accounts to make more money, make more sales, recurring revenue, all that kind of stuff, or recurring sales, then it makes total sense. But don't do it just for the sake of having accounts created, because that's useless.
Scroll down, see if they have. This is good.
We got related products.
Yeah,
reviews.
they've got a lot of reviews.
Yeah. So we got a couple. I think they can publish. I'm sure they have more. They just need to publish a few more of those. But again, make the reviews look Amazon-ish. That'll make a big deal.
Yeah, Poe makes it very easy to do that.
Yep. So, not a terrible product page, but still a bunch of stuff on here that were simple fixes that would make a very big impact for the customer. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and add a product here. Add to cart. Interesting.
Yeah, no, this is a good cart.
This is not a bad cart.
It shouldn't be black, but the reason why is white text on black is harder to read. And so you'll actually see that it will reduce conversions. I do like the checkout. We use the words proceed to checkout because you're basically telling them what to do, and it's a subconscious trigger. The arrow is good. Again, free domestic shipping with account. And see if that's a link that's underlined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can actually,
that should probably be blue.
Again, sign up for an account, which I would make it a little bit more obvious. The shipping and taxes calculated at checkout is extra text. It doesn't need to be on there. The shipping and taxes should be handled at the proper time, which is when you're dealing with shipping and taxes.
Making them think about it before they're ready to think about it makes no sense.
Right. They're going to go, oh, okay, so this isn't actually $24.99. And why would the shipping be calculated at the checkout if I've already got an account?
And it's free.
Yeah.
So
it shouldn't be on your cart by default.
No. The other thing is that this is the first time they've actually used a value proposition icon or any kind of visible value proposition saying I'm BBB accredited business. Now, ideally, if you're going to use this one, we've actually not ever tested the BBB because maybe in a lot of people's world, BBB is not a great thing. People know it's kind of a hoax. But the other thing is if you are a BBB, one of the best things you can do is to actually show the icon that shows your rating, AAA plus rated or whatever.
I do like they're saying, hey, free gift, Death Wish. So that is basically it's an incentive to go ahead and complete the order. We're giving you something free today. Yep. So honestly, this cart probably out of 100, I would say it's about an 80, 85. Yeah.
Some simple things that could really dial it in.
Yep.
And their checkout buttons and their add to cart buttons or proceed to checkout, all those buttons are the same. Okay. We're doing a pop-up in the cart before I can see the cart, trying to get me to sign up for free shipping.
And it says, no, I already have an account and love free shipping. So it should know this already at this point. It would just take a script. So this pop-up is forcing every single person to go through it and actually click, I'll guarantee that this is costing them some sales.
Yeah, it's this no, I already have the account is the confusing one. There's a much better way this could be phrased if they need to do it this way. This is saying that the customer hasn't logged in. What I would like to know, does this still pop up if the customer's already logged in?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that would be a problem.
Well, if it does, then why would it even say, no, I already have an account?
Yeah, I just don't know how smart the pop-up is because it's probably an app.
Yeah.
So this could be also done differently. This could be done in cart with a blurb or a little box above the cart or something. We're not really typically huge fans of pop-ups because that distracted me from seeing the cart. And the most important thing to get me to doing the cart, Matt, is what?
Spend my money.
Click the next button, right?
Complete the
and
sale.
This is another thing. This cart, I can't see the cart because there's so much white space, which there shouldn't be navigation on a cart either, right, Matt?
And the navigation is still functional too, because when you hover over the shop, it basically covers the cart up.
So in your cart, you should keep your logo, remove all navigation. This white space should be removed on both top and bottom to move the entire cart up the page so it all shows above the fold. Yeah. So here we got the actual cart. Let's see if.
Yeah, so it's not auto updating, which is really silly because all the technology's there nowadays.
To do that.
Yeah, at this point, this person's got 2 cups and pins
thinking they're
in their cart, and they're going to go check out for $24.99. Hit the checkout button. Let's see what happens. Okay, see, before you can even, wow.
So this isn't their fault. This is your store's fault, not the customer's fault. They added 2 to the cart. They shouldn't have to click this.
And even that still didn't update it.
No, now I have to come back, click update.
And then go forward. Oof.
And then it reloads the page. I still can't see my cart. And the pop-up comes up again. You guys can see this is a problem. And as you're watching it, you're probably going, ooh, that's not good. But you know what? I bet if you take a look at your store, many of you are doing a lot of the same things. And this is not unique to Death Wish. That's what we're trying to point out here. These things happen. Like as an example, guys, before we keep going, this right here is what we're showing you is a high-level overview of a heuristic analysis, an audit. This is an actual store audit that we did, a revenue optimization analysis. This one happens to be, I don't know, 18 pages. They all vary in length. But these are, this is a deep dive. So we basically go single space down the page, bulleting out in a super deep analytical format every single issue that's wrong on every page of the site in both desktop and both mobile and Google Analytics and all of that. We're giving you the 30,000-foot overview. We're skipping over.
Yeah, then we also give them some examples of what would work.
There's a screenshot along with it, examples of what to do, what would work.
Yeah, best case.
Yeah, the thing here is everything we're saying, guys, we're not making this shit up. This is the high-level overview of basically a skim version of what the detailed version of a store audit for a site like this would look like. And if you're interested, guys, we do offer this as a service on a limited basis. If we have slack in our schedule, we do allow our ROs to offer this as a service to public stores. So if you want to check this out and see what we do, the URL is buildgrowscale.com/audit, AUDIT, buildgrowscale.com/audit. But the point was just, guys, what we're giving you is the high-level overview. This is what it actually looks like when we turn this in. And before we do anything on a store, everything in a report like this would get fixed, because then we're able to do what?
Then we're able to start collecting data from a control and then try to improve it.
And that is where scale happens, guys. This stuff, you're still fixing stuff. You have to get all this crap done so that you have the ability to scale. Without fixing all the roadblocks and speed bumps on your road in your buyer's journey, you'll never be able to scale your store. Everything we're showing you here are road bumps, speed bumps that are stopping the buyer from purchasing and stopping Death Wish from making 3 and 4 and 5 times more money from what is a successful product and brand. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the checkout real quick. Wait a minute, I had 2.
Right.
And I clicked update total and it went back to 1.
So go to checkout, try again. Let's see what.
No. Go back to 1?
Checkout, no. Let's see what happens. Okay.
Update again. It took me back to 1.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So clearly, guys, they got a
window again. So they definitely have a bug in their cart.
Let's see what happens when I go to checkout. Does it got me 2 or 1? It has me with 1.
Yeah.
So
bummer.
Yeah,
we're trying to buy 2, and it's actually clearing the cart on us.
Now here's another thing. This header looks nothing like the header on their site.
No.
The number 1 page where people get the most nervous on a store is this page, right?
Yeah, so they got to enter their information and then their payment.
So the last thing you want to do here is make it look different, like they left the site.
The other thing is this is very valuable real estate at this point. Your logo really doesn't do much.
Nor does that black background.
Right. So why wouldn't you let them have like your customer service email or phone number or something like that, so that at this point of the sale, if they felt uncomfortable and were wondering, they would see that information and go, well, if I need anything, I can always get a hold of them. So it's basically a trust factor.
Absolutely. So next thing is the express checkout. Obviously, in many stores, PayPal can account for roughly 20 to 30% or more, depending on your niche, of your sales. So PayPal is an awesome thing to offer. We typically suppress this until the payment information page, because if they click any of those 3 links, that takes them off your store, which means they haven't filled out any contact information, which means you have no chance to do follow-up abandoned cart emails, SMS, anything. So we want them to fill those out, which is why we suppress those. Talk about Google Pay. Amazon Pay for them.
Well, Amazon Pay gets used a little bit, not a lot, but one, it actually might encourage them to leave and go check for your product on Amazon. So you've already paid for them to come here, you've been through this whole process, and then you're like, oh, by the way, we offer this over on Amazon as well. So, and then Google Pay, it just doesn't get used at all.
Yep.
It's less than 1% of 1%. So
And
essentially, it's just a cognitive load and a distraction.
And when you see this, typically it's people say, "Oh, I have these options. I should accept it." They think that because their theme allows it or their Shopify store allows it, that the theme developer or Shopify even knows what the heck is best for an optimization standpoint.
Yeah.
Just because you have features doesn't mean you should use them.
More is not better.
Correct. And what now we have a thing here called paradox of choice as well. So paradox of choice is critical because people think they want choices until you give them too many choices, and then they can't make a decision. And when they start to feel confused, nobody likes that feeling, so they shut down and they leave. Rather than feel confused or get embarrassed or not have to think through something, they're just going to leave. So if I say, do you want vanilla or chocolate? You can make that decision. If I take you to Baskin-Robbins and say, which of the 31 flavors do you want? It takes you more time. A lot of times you may even wind up going, ooh, you know what? I really don't need ice cream.
Yeah.
So we want them to check out, all right? Also, let's see. Okay, well, they're not doing anything here.
No.
Do you want to take it?
Well, you always want to try to reduce the number of form fields you have. So to have the company name there is really unnecessary. You don't need the company name.
You can turn that off.
You don't need that to ship them their product. So shut that off. Then in the email, so again, we always say, people don't mind giving you information if they know why you want it. And so in the email, you can actually add text to these form fields and give them a reason why you're asking for the email. You'll typically get a much better email and a lot better subscriber rate if, when you put in the email, tell them required for order confirmation. So then they know, oh, okay, that makes sense. If I enter my email here, this is what they're going to send
As long
me.
as that you give them a reason that they think, oh yeah, that makes sense. I want to get my order confirmation. They'll give you a good email, which means you can market to them or abandoned cart market to them.
Yeah.
Okay,
again,
phone. If this is optional, then turn it off.
Yeah.
If you're not doing SMS messaging, which you should be, because Matt has said in a lot of our videos, it's basically the #1 recovery moneymaker for us.
Yeah, it's the highest source of revenue from the checkout abandoned recovery.
But if you're not doing that, then turn it off. Every single form field reduces errors. And now we're down to continue shopping when everywhere else on their site, their button was red, and now their button is black.
Yeah, so in their checkout, the very last section where they're going to start transacting money, they've changed things. And so it doesn't look like the same site anymore.
Remember, with a store online, you're asking someone to pull the credit card out of their pocket, type it into the thing on an internet that's filled with fraud and everything else. The #1 thing your store has to do is convey the KLT factor, which is know, like, and trust. Every little thing, like the random weird header that their subconscious goes, wait, that's not the same site I was on. Or the button, that button looks different. Even if they're not consciously thinking about it, causes a reduction in the ability for them to complete the checkout. They just don't feel comfortable. So this is why everything we're showing you here is why traffic really isn't your problem. Your store is the problem. Now, before we wrap this one up, I want to go ahead and look at a subscription page.
Okay.
So let's go look at Hopefully it can go to coffee and I can get into a subscription page. So let's go.
So they do have categories. Right there is really what they should have
Yeah.
taken you to, is a category page.
They do. It's not
just done wrong.
Yeah, done way wrong. Well, let's look at the pumpkin one, since that's the new one that we were seeing on the homepage.
It's got a lot of good reviews.
Yeah. So clearly it's a popular product, but then why aren't they making it like a customer favorite or do something to call out on the homepage, right?
Yeah, it really looks like this is the same as a regular product page.
It does, other than the subscription box.
Yeah. So I think you're gonna have a couple of selections right here.
Yep. So one,
2, or 5.
5. I don't even have a subscription option on this
Well,
page.
this is is this not a subscription?
No, the homepage had a
Yeah.
subscription option.
Yeah.
So, but if I go back up in shop, I saw it. I have to go to subscriptions separately. So
Okay.
they have separated subscriptions, which does work.
So
You have to
click on
test
it
it.
and see if it actually takes you to only subscriptions.
Oh, here.
It's there.
Now I'm on a different site.
Yeah,
I'm not, but I feel like it.
yeah, definitely different.
And all above the fold, but here we get normal.
The society are strong.
Okay, so now they're trying to be cute and not get clearly to okay, I want a subscription page. Tell me about the subscription. Not in huge bullets that I have to leave. Make it visual, make it easy for me. People don't like signing up for subscription. It's one of the hardest things to do. Recurring revenue is one of the most lucrative things you can do if you do it right. Subscription, and if you haven't read my book, eCommerce Evolved, where I have an entire like almost 100-page section on recurring revenue, you should read it because this is done very wrong. And I want you guys to benefit from subscription revenue. It's one of the most powerful things you can have in a business. But they're not making it. I have to read all this stuff to understand.
Not making it a no-brainer.
I can't even see the
What is the unique
products.
value?
Yeah.
Free bandana and embroidered patch. Like that's really not probably the selling point of someone signing up for a subscription.
No, and I get freshly roasted beans weekly. Of course I do. I'm subscribing.
Right.
This is really the only true USP.
Yeah, I would say the one-click adjustments.
Yeah, that's good.
And then reward points for all subscription items.
Yeah, so
That's really those. You could
yeah, it's true.
essentially be less than half of this cognitive load, and it's
Yep.
honestly the fact that none of it's bolded. There's nothing highlighted other than 20%.
And then again, I'm
off.
still looking down at the DW Stash Cache because it's the only bright thing on the page.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I want to touch on the subscription thing real quick. When it comes to subscription products, okay, or of anything actually, any product, you have to display the USP, the unique value, not selling, unique value proposition really. What makes that product special? Why this subscription? The next thing you need to do is overcome the common objections. I can't cancel. Oh, it's one click, done. Those kind of things are your focus, not adding a bunch of other trivial fluff, okay? If you do just that, you're gonna do better. So now we're scrolling and we're just now getting down to the coffee.
They should have like a shadow box. It's on there, but it's really, really light around the 7 days.
Oh yeah.
So that it's obvious that you can go in there and adjust the days.
Mhm.
Other than that, I do think it's fairly simple. It would be nice if they basically are saying 20% off there for subscribing. And then also that add a card button should have a little card icon on it
Yeah.
a bit more.
And truthfully, if they have all these different Death Wish coffee, Death Cups, like having a list of subscription products is not ideal.
No, you should be able to select from the top of the page what you're looking
What?
for.
Yeah. Do I want a 1 pound coffee, a 5 pound coffee? Do I want the cups? Or
so go back to the top of the page. Yeah, no, so there's zero filter. So you're literally forcing them to scroll through all of your products to find the one that they're interested
and
in.
honestly, I got to here. I didn't honestly think there was anything below it because there's no like anything to draw my eye to keep scrolling.
Right.
So that's not a good ideal thing either.
Yeah. So this could be done better as well too.
Yeah. So again, guys, we are not knocking Death Wish. They've built a very successful brand. They have great customers. People love their products. Okay. However, 3 to 5 times more people could really love their products if they just simplified and fixed their store according to some of the stuff we're showing you. Now, why do we do these things? Well, number one, we get a kick out of it. They're fun and we get to see a bunch of sites. But number two is we're trying to deliver value in this so that if you just did what you see on these calls to your store, you would have an impact. Now, the other thing though, is so many e-commerce stores that we come in contact with, and like I said, thousands of them, They're all monkey see, monkey do marketers. They see a site like Death Wish. Oh man, Death Wish is doing great. I'm going to copy their site, or I'm going to copy what they're doing. If you don't know it's working, the worst thing you can do is copy, because you're copying something that they don't probably even know is working. Or they don't know why what is working is working.
They might be really good at their media or have some really good affiliates that drive traffic that likes their stuff. It doesn't mean that their store's set up properly.
Correct. So again, guys, if you really like this, then throw a comment below the video. Let us know what you think. I want to touch on one other thing, because I wanted to clarify this. Okay, this is a full in-depth store audit where our team, and not Matter-I, you don't trust me, you don't want us, you want our team because they're the best. Have them, they do this 40 hours a week, each person, all day, every day. That's all they do. If you would like one of our team to go through and basically on a silver platter, hand you a detailed report complete with screenshots, suggestions, issues, everything, where it goes, hey, here's everything that you need to fix on your store that will make it work better, make your traffic easier to buy, make you more profitable, and just hand it to you. Then go to buildgrowscale.com/audit, and you can actually hire our team to do this. Now, there is some scarcity on this. It's nothing crazy, but I want to be clear about it. I believe in transparency. And that is that Matt works with the team, and he looks every month at what the available slack time is in their schedules. When we have slack time, we want to keep our people busy so they're maximizing what we're paying them, right? That's just smart business. So one of the things we decided to do was when Matt finds slack time, he'll go, hey, we can take on 5 or 6 store audits this week. So we'll make a page live and allow people like you guys who have stores to purchase a store audit and have our team do it for you. Now, this is not something we normally do. Normally, it's only for our clients or our members. But in this case, since we have slack time and we really do want to put our best foot forward. Do you want to tell them the sneaky part, or do you want me to?
I'll let you. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
I like being sneaky. So the sneaky, dastardly secondary plan behind this. Yes, I want you to buy one of these. Not because I'm going to make a lot of money on it, because Matt and I won't.
We don't charge
very much for it. This is actually us demonstrating value by putting our absolute best foot forward in terms of what can we give you, aside from actually just doing the work for you and running your business for you. How can we help you the most, win the biggest in your store? It's this. So we deliver this to you on a silver platter. If you just implement it one piece at a time, your store will be leaps and bounds from where it was. If it's not selling at all, it will start selling. If it's selling but not great, it'll sell more. If it is selling great, it'll sell greater and gooder. Okay, gooder is a big word. Yeah. Now, the dastardly secret plan is that by demonstrating our value and giving you this and you getting ridiculous results with it, like everybody else who's ever had one of our audits has.
You can go to the page and see. There's a bunch of testimonials of people that have used it.
The idea is that you will be so excited by that, you'll be like, man, what else can I do with Build, Grow, Scale? Maybe I want to go to Build, Grow, Scale Live, our big conference, annual event. Maybe I want to join their program or buy the book or do more stuff with Build, Grow, Scale. Oh my God, our desire is that we deliver so much value that you come back and become a repeat customer of ours. Pretty sneaky, right? Yeah. That's our entire plan. So the best way for you to want to come back to us, though, is by us actually getting you results. This will do it. All right. So again, all the details you need to know about this. I don't want to be any hard pitch. I just want to be transparent about why we're doing it. All the details you need are at buildgrowscale.com/audit, AUDIT. Go there. There's a whole page that has all the details to break down. If there is a buy button there, that means we have room to take audits. If there's no buy button, it'll be like a waiting list, opt-in or something like that, so you can get on the list and notified when we do have availability. If that's it, cool. If not, no worries. Hopefully you got some benefit out of this video, and if you liked it, let us know in the comments below. With that, guys, have a great day. Get your store dialed in, and remember, there's 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 clicks on your store and only 1 on the ad. Which one are you going to focus on? See you guys.
See you guys.